Hi, how are you? I hope you're keeping well. Today's video, I'm just going to show you a few techniques for using cream makeup. So if you've got any creams that you want to go and grab, maybe like a foundation, cream blusher, highlighter, bronzer, that kind of thing, and grab some nice fluffy brushes as well if you have them. I'm not going to do a full makeup look because I'm basically prepping to do a smoky eye look, but I know I won't have time to do everything in 15 minutes, so I just thought I'd break it into two. So I'm going to start with some of the Murad nutrient charged water gel. I'm not sure if I've actually used this in a video before, but it's one of my favourite kind of everyday moisturisers. It's a gel texture. It's a similar texture to the Z Matrix from Zellen's that I often talk about, but it's a bit cheaper. It's not as dense as the Z Matrix, but it's a nice kind of quick, light, hydrating drink for the skin. And I find that makeup sits really well over it. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of CC Cream Illumination, and I'm just going to take a light little pump of this all over. Now, as you can see, my redness is a bit flared up at the moment. I have been using retinol, so it's a little bit of trial and error to see. Sometimes I seem to be fine with it. Other mornings I wake up and it has flared up a bit. I mean, it's all part and parcel of using retinol, really. But if I can try and explain to you what I'm doing here, even though I'm achieving a coverage, I'm pressing so gently with this brush. So ultimately what I want to do is create that lovely creamy finish everywhere, but I don't want to rub so hard that it's kind of rubbed off before it's had a chance to sit on my skin. I've got a little bit of texture at the moment on the forehead, but my cheeks don't seem too textured, which is why I've gone in with the illuminating formula. If I was experiencing a lot of texture on the rest of the face, I would probably just stick to an original formula or perhaps something a bit more matte in texture so that I wasn't drawing too much attention to it. But the illuminating CC cream is really lovely to give you like a fresh glowing base, and the look I'm going to do on my eyes is going to be fairly full, so I thought I'd counteract the fullness that I'm intending to do with my eyes with a slightly softer base. Now I've still got some left on the back of my hand. I'm just going to look over my shoulder into the mirror, and I'm going to pat a little bit more where I'm prone to being a little bit more red. And I'm going to take a little bit in this area where I am a little bit more textured. And then I'll seal all this in with powder soon. The nice thing about this formula is because it has like a pearliness to it, even if you set it with powder, you can still see that pearly quality. But while everything is still dewy, I'm going to layer all my creams together and then powder them all together. So the next thing I'm going to go in with is this cream bronzer from Trinny London. I'm going to actually use the same brush, just rub off any excess and then go straight into this part for the bronzer. Now, the nice thing about cream bronzers, I'm going to pat this on the back of my hand. You can see it picks up quite a lot. The nice thing about cream bronzers is they just give you a really healthy sun kiss. I do find with matte bronzers, which, there's a time and a place for both. I definitely love using a matte bronzer sometimes too. But for the likes of today, when I'm going for something that looks a bit softer all over, the light reflection of using a cream means that it never looks too heavy. So I'm taking that through the hairline, just through those cheeks. I don't think I'm going to put too much blusher on because, again, I really want my eyeshadow to do the talking. So I'm just going to press that through, a tiny bit down the nose, and leave that as it is. Now I know you can still see that texture here. I will address that when I come to do my powder, but I just want to get all my creams on first. Now, just to add a little bit of highlight in certain places, this is, let me get the exact name, this is David Horne's House of GlamDolls Babyface GlamLight wheel. Basically, David is one of the most brilliant makeup artists. Anyone that has been in makeup for a long time will know all about David. He has a brilliant makeup school called the House of GlamDolls, and he has a few different products. This is a wheel of different highlighters. He also does concealer wheels. Everything is a really extensive shade range. If you're a makeup artist building your kit, he's got brilliant resources. But this is essentially lots of different luminous creams. So I'm just going to take, this brush is the MAC 123S. You want something nice, and if I show you, I've just wiped that on my hand now, so it's got some foundation on it. The tip of that is so sheer that it is going to really gently press the illuminator into the skin rather than going in with something too dense. So because those fibres are so soft, again, I'm patting off any excess on the back of my hand, but it will just allow me to touch those high points, and I'm going to pat that in rather than buff it in. Because if I'm to rub now, I will sweep away all of the coverage I've done on my cheeks. And can you hear these on the phone, by the way? I'm so sorry, I can't actually hear myself think. Heaven forbid, for 10 minutes while I quickly put some makeup on. I'm only 6 minutes in. We had a little bit of quiet, but never mind. Anyway, nice and luminous, pressed in really gently with a really soft brush. I'm going to quickly put my powder on before I lose all my concentration altogether. This is a really important step. So I'm going in, this is a little bit of the Hourglass Veil powder. What I would say is, if you're using creams, always a great idea to seal them in with a bit of powder. And in particular, go through the centre of the face and anywhere where there's a natural fold. So for example, there is going to gather a little bit more moisture than the rest of the face. So it's going to be prone to looking a bit shinier a bit more quickly. So I'm going to seal that in. Make sure that stays looking nice and fresh. I'm also going to go onto this chin. I've still got some texture on that forehead that isn't completely gone. But do you know what? Like, makeup is such a brilliant tool to enhance what's already there, give you a bit of lift, a bit of glow or whatever else, but I think it would be disingenuous to show you something that would completely remove that, and I'd rather show you a realistic result of how you can reduce it rather than eradicate it. So now I'm just going in with a little bit of, this is a Soap and Glory brow mascara that's tinted. Again, I'm going to keep these brows nice and soft so that it's a nice fresh comparison to the smoky eye. And then I'm going to leave that there. The video about smoky eyes is already up, so I'll put a link to that. If you click the arrow at the top here, there's a clickable link that will take you straight to it, or you'll find it on my page. And I hope you enjoyed, and I will speak to you very soon. If there's anything in particular that you want to see, just let me know and I'll work it into my next few videos, and I'll be speaking to you soon.